Hi, it's Kiffin Bates here, and today I want to talk a bit about a problem that people working in the blockchain space sometimes face. I was going to use the word discrimination, but it's too strong a word. It certainly pales into comparison with the problems that people face in terms of discrimination on the grounds of gender or race or religion. But it is interesting to me that if you work in blockchain, because it's linked to crypto and because crypto is linked to all sorts of public perceptions about scams, particularly through ICOs, and also linked to criminality, in that there's a belief that the large crime families and cartels and stuff are using Bitcoin for money laundering. This kind of sort of knocks over into those of us who are actually just working on the fundamental technology and aren't particularly engaged with cryptocurrency. So I consider myself to be a pretty law-abiding person. I don't think I've done anything majorly illegal. A couple of run-ins with the computer department at Cambridge University due to misuse of the computer systems, for which I was fined £10 on 2 occasions. But I think if you don't get into a little bit of computer trouble when you're an undergraduate, then you're not really trying hard enough. Anyway, my nefarious history aside, so I'm a blockchain inventor and researcher, and I'm looking at the sort of fundamental technology that allows distributed ledgers to actually work efficiently. The fact that you can use them to create cryptocurrencies, from my perspective, is just an interesting side effect of what is fundamentally a much more interesting, wider technology with wider applicability. And yet, because I'm working in blockchain, I've had a number of occasions where my bank has asked me what I'm doing and to come in and explain myself. In both cases that they called me in, I just asked them to point out the relevant section of Finnish law which required me to disclose the information that they wanted, and of course there wasn't such a section of law. But it's always a worry when you're running a company and you're doing sort of genuine low-level computer research that your bank may just suddenly decide to freeze your account and suddenly you can't pay salaries or continue your work properly. So the second one is that Facebook repeatedly suggests that I boost my posts, and I've been engaged in a rather amusing long-running affair where I have been trying to boost a particular post on my supply chain invention, which has nothing to do with ICOs or cryptocurrency or anything like that. It's about improving supply chains using RFID tags and a blockchain. But whenever I try to boost it, it keeps coming back with a rejected, because it is believed that this is connected with prohibited activities, namely ICOs and cryptocurrencies. So then I appeal it, and then they reject it, and this goes on. I think it happens on average about once every 2 days that we go through this cycle. So it's funny for me to be working in an industry where, as far as I can see, I'm doing nothing nefarious, and yet the actors around me are constantly suspecting that I'm doing something evil or wrong. And I think the reason for this, and the reason why you face this in blockchain but not in AI, is that these technologies are encroaching onto an area that has always been very well controlled. For example, in the distant past, the right to print money was basically reserved by kings and emperors. They would mint more coins in order to pay their soldiers to maintain their armies and maintain their empires. And in modern days, of course, it's the preserve of banks and, to a certain extent, governments. So when a new technology comes along that steps onto the toes of these entities that are in control of our financial systems, it's not surprising that they're going to clamp down in all sorts of different ways. Anyway, that's just a take on one of the downsides of working in blockchain, which, although fascinating, unfortunately is connected into this financial area that naturally makes banks and governments suspicious. I hope you found these observations interesting, and I'll see you again in the next video tomorrow. Bye for now.